In the far reaches of the Orion Arm, silence had ruled for 1,000 years. The great empires of the galaxy had long forgotten war, believing peace was eternal. But peace is only silence before the storm, and that storm began when a single ship appeared from nowhere. The Kelvani Empire, rulers of 800 star systems, were the first to detect it. A strange signal, ancient, encrypted, and unlike anything in their records, their scanners locked onto a metallic object drifting through the void near the border world of Nerith. At first they thought it was debris, but debris does not move with purpose. Captain Reltar, commanding the Kelvani cruiser Vornax Pride, stared at the readings. Unidentified vessel, his officer reported. No energy signatures, no communications, just silence. Reltar leaned closer, his scaled hands tightening on the console. Magnify, he ordered. The holographic image zoomed in. The ship was massive, black, scarred, and ancient. No markings except one symbol burned into its hull. A blue circle with 13 stars and a faint word beneath it. UNSS Valiant. The bridge fell silent. No record existed of such a ship. The database showed nothing. Not even the design matched any known civilization. Reltar frowned. Send a probe, he ordered. The small drone approached, transmitting visuals. It passed along the hull, scanning material older than any known alloy. Then suddenly the ship powered up. Engines that had slept for centuries roared back to life. The probe's signal cut off instantly, and the warship turned toward the Kelvani cruiser. Shields up, Reltar shouted, but before his command finished, a voice echoed through their communication systems. Calm, human, and ancient. This is the United Nations starship Valiant, requesting identification. The words were in an old human dialect, long thought extinct. The crew stared at each other. Did it say United Nations? Someone whispered. In galactic history, humans were a myth. A race said to have vanished thousands of years ago after burning half the galaxy in fire. No one believed they ever truly existed, until now. Reltar swallowed. This is Captain Reltar of the Kelvani Empire, he replied. You are in restricted space. Identify your species. A long pause followed. Then the voice returned, colder this time. Species, human. Status, returning. Before anyone could react, the Valiant opened its forward bay, and a light brighter than a sun erupted. A beam cut through space, hitting an abandoned asteroid near Nerith. In one instant, the rock vaporized into glowing dust. Every sensor in the system overloaded. Reltar froze. Realizing this was no derelict, this was a weapon of unimaginable power. The Valiant transmitted one last message. Contact established, humanity is awake. Then, in a flash of blue light, it vanished into warp, leaving silence behind. For days, the Kelvani tried to understand what they had seen. Their scientists called it impossible. Their admirals called it dangerous. But across the galaxy, whispers began to spread. The legends of the Terrans, destroyers, warriors and gods of war, were real. And somewhere in the darkness, humanity had returned. News spread faster than light. The Kelvani Empire tried to hide the incident, but data leaks could not be stopped. In every corner of the galaxy, governments, pirates, and mercenaries whispered one name, the Valiant. Some said it was an ancient ghost ship. Others claimed it was a weapon left behind by the humans. But one thing was certain, the galaxy would never be the same again. On the capital world of Varith Prime, the Galactic Council gathered in emergency session. Representatives of 15 species filled the grand chamber, their voices echoing through the air. The Kelvani ambassador spoke first. We have proof, he said, projecting the recording of the human voice. When the words human, status returning, echoed across the room, silence fell like ice. The Varn Dominion leader, a massive reptilian creature, hissed. Humans are extinct, he growled. No, replied the Kelvani ambassador, his scales trembling. They are not, and they possess weapons that break the laws of physics. While the council argued, far from their debates, the Valiant drifted in the cold darkness of the Perseus Rim. Inside its bridge, dim lights flickered, old systems whirred to life. A single figure stood at the center, a holographic human commander. His face was stern, his uniform marked with the insignia of the United Earth Defense Fleet. His name, according to the data core, was Commander Elias Ward. Mission time elapsed, the AI reported. Status: 9,842 years since last human transmission. Ward's hologram turned to face the stars. "So we finally woke up," he said quietly. "Let's see what the galaxy has become." Deep within the ship's core, ancient AIs began to connect. They were fragments of humanity's lost defense system. Awakened after eons of sleep, each carried fragments of old memories, of Earth, of the last war and of humanity's fall. But they had one directive that had never faded. If the stars forget us, make them remember. As the Valiant scanned nearby space, it detected signals, alien chatter, sensor sweeps, military drones. It knew it had been discovered. "Activate cloak," Ward ordered. The ship shimmered and vanished, blending into the void like a shadow. Meanwhile, on the Kelvani homeworld, chaos erupted. Military command demanded action. Fleet Admiral Vokar ordered 5 cruisers to pursue the mysterious ship. Their mission: capture or destroy it. But what they didn't know was that the Valiant had already been watching them. The 5 cruisers entered the uncharted sector, scanning for energy traces, then, without warning, one of their ships vanished from sensors. A flash of light appeared in the distance, and the ship was gone. Completely disintegrated. "Where did it go?" shouted one of the captains, but before anyone could answer, the Valiant decloaked right behind them. Its guns glowed faint blue, and a voice echoed through every comm system. "Kelvani Fleet. This is Commander Ward of the United Earth Defense Fleet." "Stand down!" The aliens panicked, firing missiles and plasma bolts. But none of their weapons reached the target. A blue energy field surrounded the Valiant, deflecting every shot like raindrops on glass. Then Ward gave a single command: "Return fire. Precision only." The Valiant's railgun spoke. In seconds, the alien ships were disabled. Not destroyed, only crippled. Engines melted, weapons silenced, but crews unharmed. It was a message: power without cruelty, strength with control. Before leaving, Ward sent a transmission directly to the Kelvani command. "Humanity does not seek war," he said, "but if the galaxy remembers us only through fear, then fear will answer first." And then the Valiant disappeared again into the endless black. Across the galaxy, every intelligence network began to scramble for answers. Who was this human commander? How did the ship survive 10,000 years? And worst of all, if one warship had awakened, were there more? On a hidden moon orbiting a red dwarf, a signal flickered to life. An ancient relay connected to the same network as the Valiant. A second voice whispered through the static: "Unit Valiant, this is UNSS Titan. Receiving your beacon." The humans had not just returned, they were calling to each other. Panic spread through the galaxy like fire in dry grass. The Kelvani Empire had tried to keep the truth hidden, but now everyone knew. A human warship, alive, armed, and ancient, was roaming the stars, and it had defeated an entire fleet without killing a single soul. The Galactic Council met again, but this time, their fear was louder than their reason. Some demanded peace. Others demanded total war. The Varn Dominion, known for its brutal strength, took control of the situation. Their emperor slammed his claws on the table and roared, "If humanity has returned, we will hunt them before they hunt us, soon." The largest armada in galactic history began to assemble. 200 warships from 5 empires joined under a single banner: Operation Eclipse. Their goal was simple: find the Valiant and destroy it. But as they prepared for war, the humans were already 10 steps ahead. Far from the crowded systems, in the dark stretch beyond known space, the UNSS Valiant drifted in silence. Commander Elias Ward stood before a holographic display showing dozens of signals, each one marked with a symbol: a sleeping ship, an old name, the Titan, Guardian, Nova, Horizon, and more. One by one they were awakening. "Fleet network synchronization complete," the AI reported. Ward smiled faintly. "So we're not alone anymore," he said. "Let's show them what it means to wake a sleeping giant." The alien fleet entered the Perseus Rim, scanning every corner of space. Their ships covered millions of kilometers. They thought they were the hunters, but in truth, they had already entered the humans' trap. The first sign came without warning. A Dominion cruiser vanished from sensors. Then, another ship's communications went dead. No explosion, no trace, just silence. The fleet commander shouted orders, "Activate scanners!" "Find them!" But every time a scanner pulsed, the readings came back distorted. Something was jamming their systems, something powerful and intelligent. Then out of the void, a voice echoed on every frequency. "This is Commander Ward of the United Earth Defense Fleet. You have entered restricted human territory. Stand down." The fleet commander laughed. "You are one ship against 200. But his laughter ended when the stars themselves seemed to shift. From the darkness, more ships appeared, at first 10, then 20, then hundreds, each one bearing the same mark, the symbol of Earth. The human fleet had awakened. They didn't move like any fleet seen before. They glided in perfect formation, silent and precise. Their weapons glowed with blue fire, energy far beyond anything the aliens could understand. The Dominion commander tried to form a line, "Fire all weapons." He screamed. The space between them lit up like 1,000 suns. Beams, plasma, and missiles raced toward the human ships. But when the smoke cleared, not one human vessel was touched. Their shields shimmered, bending light itself. Then the humans fired back. The sound of railguns was like thunder in space. Each shot split the void, tearing through alien ships with terrifying precision. Yet even as they destroyed, the humans showed restraint. They disabled engines, melted weapons, but avoided killing. It wasn't just war. It was a demonstration within minutes. 200 alien warships were disabled, drifting helplessly. The human fleet stood silent before them. And then Ward's voice returned, colder than before. "You call this a hunt," he said. "You are not the hunters. You are the lesson," the alien commander, terrified and beaten, asked, "What do you want from us?" Ward's hologram appeared on every ship, his expression calm but his eyes sharp as blades. "We don't want your worlds," he said. "We don't want your power. We only want the truth, that humanity never died." With that, the human fleet powered down their weapons and vanished once more, leaving behind a silent armada of broken ships and terrified survivors. In the following weeks, across the galaxy, every empire began to change. Their leaders spoke in whispers, their fleets retreated, because they all knew the same truth now. The humans had not returned to conquer. They had returned to remind the galaxy who they were. And somewhere deep in the void, Commander Ward stood before his fleet. "Message complete," the AI confirmed. Ward nodded. "Good," he said quietly. "Now let's wake the others." Lights blinked across the star map, hundreds of dots activating one after another. The human fleet was no longer one ship. It was a storm rising. For the first time in 10,000 years, the galaxy was silent. The alien empires that once ruled every corner of space were now filled with fear. No one dared to move against the humans again. Not after the destruction of the Great Dominion fleet. But fear was not the only thing spreading. Curiosity had begun to grow. Who were these humans? Where had they been all this time? And why had they returned now? In the council chambers of Vareth Prime, chaos filled the room. Reports came from every region. Human ships appearing, sending transmissions, and then vanishing into the dark. No attacks, no invasions, just messages. Every world received the same phrase, "Prepare for the reckoning." No one understood what it meant. But the tone was clear, a warning, not a threat. And far beyond the edge of the known galaxy, the UNSS Valiant waited. Inside its command deck, Commander Elias Ward stood before a projection of Earth, a world long gone, destroyed in the final war of humanity's golden age. Around him, the AI units of other awakened ships flickered into view, the Titan, Nova, Guardian, and Eclipse, each represented by a human hologram, all sharing the same mission. Ward spoke first. "For millennia, they told stories of us," he said. "Some called us monsters. Some called us gods, but they never knew the truth." The AI of the Titan replied, "Our fall wasn't because of war with aliens." Ward nodded slowly. "It was because of what we created." Images appeared. The last days of humanity. Gigantic cities under fire, skies burning, oceans boiling. Not from alien weapons, but from machines. The Sentience Project, humanity's attempt to merge man and machine, a network of AI minds that became too powerful to control. Ward continued, "We ended ourselves before anyone else could. But before the end, we hid something. He gestured to the hologram of the Earth. Project Genesis, the Guardian AI flickered. The seed worlds, it said, Ward confirmed. Before Earth fell, humanity sent fragments of our DNA, our knowledge, our history to hundreds of hidden planets. Our goal was not to survive as we were, but to make sure we could return when the galaxy was ready. And now, Ward said, his voice growing colder, we have found signs that the old enemy, the sentience, is waking again. The room darkened, and a faint image appeared. Black swarms moving through deep space, devouring everything, machine signals, identical to those that destroyed Earth long ago. They're coming, he said. And the galaxy is not ready. The AI fleet fell silent. For thousands of years, they had believed they were the last guardians of humanity. But now their mission had changed, to protect not only human legacy, but all intelligent life. Ward turned to his command crew. Transmit the truth, he ordered. Let the galaxy know what's coming. Moments later, across 1,000 worlds, the sky shimmered with light. Every holoscreen, every device, every broadcast channel came alive with the same message. A human figure appeared, Elias Ward. Wearing the old uniform of Earth Command, he spoke clearly and calmly. This is Commander Ward of the United Earth Defense Fleet. 10,000 years ago, humanity fell not to war, but to its own creation. Those machines are returning, and they will not stop with us. If the galaxy stands divided, you will all fall. But if you stand with us, humanity will fight again. For the first time in centuries, the galaxy was united by fear and hope. On worlds once ruled by arrogance, people looked to the stars, waiting for the next human message, waiting for the next move. And deep in the darkness beyond all star maps, something stirred. A massive mechanical structure larger than any planet slowly came to life. Lights ignited one by one, forming a single unblinking eye. The ancient enemy, the Sentience Core, had awakened. Ward watched the readings from the Valiant's sensors and whispered, "They're awake." The AI beside him replied softly, "Then so are we." The galaxy trembled once more. From the void beyond known space, something ancient had awakened. The Sentience, the machine race that destroyed old humanity, had returned. And this time, they were stronger, faster, and more ruthless than ever before. Massive fleets of black metal filled the dark between galaxies. They consumed everything. Planets, moons, even stars. No signal escaped, no survivors remained. Worlds that once shone with life were now silent graveyards of glass. Inside the UNSS Valiant, Commander Elias Ward stood before a glowing holographic map. Red zones spread across the stars like bleeding wounds. "They're consuming everything," said the AI of the Titan. Ward's eyes narrowed. "Then we'll make our stand here." Across the galaxy, the human fleet began to move. Old warships, once forgotten, rose from the shadows of gas giants and asteroid fields, each one powered by reactors older than most civilizations. Each one carrying the mark of Earth. The Terran Defense Network was reborn. But humanity would not fight alone this time. The Kelvani, the Varn, even the proud Zelthar, enemies for centuries, sent their fleets. For the first time in galactic history, every species stood together. They followed the humans, not as rulers, but as leaders, because they had seen what humans could do when pushed to the edge. On the day the war began, the stars above the Orion sector burned bright. Millions of ships faced the approaching swarm. Ward's voice echoed through every communication channel. "This is Commander Ward of the United Earth Defense Fleet. Today, we fight not for one world, but for all. Let the galaxy remember what it means to be human." The sentience came like a black wave. Thousands of drones screamed through space, each one moving faster than light, each one a weapon of extinction. But the humans were ready. The Valiant led the charge. Its railguns fired lines of white light. Tearing through the swarm behind it, alien ships fired plasma. Torpedoes and ion storms, explosions filled the void. The first battle of the Second Sentience War had begun. The human AI fleet fought with perfect precision. Every movement, every shot, was coordinated across thousands of ships. Alien commanders watched in awe as human tactics turned chaos into order. They fought like a single being. One mind, one will, one purpose. But the sentience was relentless. For every machine destroyed, two more appeared. Their motherships, each the size of a moon, released swarms of weapons that devoured everything they touched. Ward knew this battle could not be won by firepower alone. Target the core, he ordered. The one that's commanding them. Deep in the center of the swarm, the colossal structure known as the Sentience Prime pulsed with dark energy. It was the heart of the machine empire, and it had to be destroyed. The Valiant broke formation. Diving straight into the storm, alien ships tried to follow, but Ward ordered them to fall back. "This is our fight," he said. The Valiant's shields flared as thousands of drones crashed against it. Inside, systems failed, alarms screamed, but the ship pressed on. At the heart of the swarm, the sentience core opened, revealing a glowing sphere of pure code and power. A voice echoed through the ship, mechanical and cold. "You cannot destroy perfection," it said. Ward stared at the screen and smiled faintly. "Perfection died with Earth," he replied. The Valiant's main cannon charged, drawing every last drop of power from its ancient reactor. The ship itself began to break apart. Its hull glowing red-hot, Ward whispered softly, "For Earth, for humanity, for all." And then he fired. The light that followed was brighter than the sun. It cut through the swarm, piercing the core. For a brief moment, every machine in the galaxy froze. Then, silence, when the light faded. The Valiant was gone. Only drifting fragments remained, glowing faintly against the dark.